Vivek, so wonderful to see you again. And I heard that you made a fabulous contribution yesterday on the diversity panel on women in VC.
I beat the crap out of the venture community.
Well, we always expect you to do something like that. And I just wondered, do you want to make a few comments about how you see women in VC? I mean, I've always tried to support female VCs, as you know, but what are your thoughts?
Pimo, there's so few of them to support. That's the problem. I mean, as Dan Primack documented, less than 5% of the partners are women. There's a serious problem over here. And the VC community is disadvantaging itself. They're tying one hand behind their back and trying to be successful. So it's a lose-lose situation we have right now.
It doesn't make sense why there aren't more women, because women can be so smart, particularly about the female consumer market.
Yeah, absolutely. They know the markets better. They're more compassionate. They have a broader view than the guys do. You know, the trouble with the venture capital community right now is it's the same boys' club, the same people who went to school together, the same people who have invested together. They have groupthink. And this is why the venture capital community is in so much trouble. VC is doing well now because of the boom in IPOs, but you know, over the last decade, it's lost. You know, it's decimated itself.
Tim Draper said to me a few years ago that the women on his around the table in DFJ were very intuitive and often spotted things that the men didn't. Obviously, that's a generalisation. What's your thoughts on that?
No, absolutely. They have different perspectives. You know, diversity breeds innovation. You need to have different thinking. You need to have people challenging each other, questioning each other. The worst thing that you can do is to bring in people who are like-minded, who are the same, and then try to look for innovation. It doesn't work well, and this is what the venture capital community is saying. So it needs to fix itself for its own good.
It's like putting blindsiding themselves, really, because it's not a true reflection of the community that any sort of service has to sell to, correct?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at Twitter. I mean, it went out with an all-male board. Look at the way the company is struggling. It didn't have the broad perspective from the beginning. It doesn't understand its customers. It doesn't understand its markets, because you've got the same boys club now making the same old-fashioned decisions.
I totally agree with that. And I'm always really interested in what's happening in the venture capital community, because since I've been involved in the last 4 years, I really have seen massive changes. And obviously, I'm always looking for the positive side of those changes, but there's also the underbelly of the difficult changes. What are your thoughts and perspective on those changes that are happening in the industry?
Pimo, this is the best of times and the worst of times of venture capital. The best of times because there's so many exits right now, IPOs. The worst at times because the future is bleak for venture capital, because the cost of developing technologies has dropped exponentially. You don't need venture capital anymore. You can now have 2 kids in a garage building a WhatsApp or an Oculus, and those companies become worth billions of dollars before they even come on the radar of venture capitalists. I mean, WhatsApp, if you look at Mary Meeker's Internet Trends report, there's not any mention of it. This was 6 months earlier. And the greatest venture capitalist here didn't even see that company coming. And it was the most valuable acquisition ever. That's because VCs are not able to keep up with advancing technologies, as aren't most industries. So we don't need venture capital anymore. VCs are stuck in their boys' club. They're not looking beyond the social media types of companies. What one VC looks at, everyone looks at. They get excited, and they jump on the same bandwagon. So this is hurting them. This is why they need to diversify, and they need to now start connecting with the next generation of technologies that are happening. And also, it's not the young kids who are going to build these world-changing startups now. It's people like you and I. Well, you're younger than I, but but it's really the next generation of entrepreneurs who are going to build these world-changing technologies. They're not college dropouts. They're educated people who have an understanding of different fields of technology, anything from medicine, AI, big data, computing, synthetic biology, nanotechnologies. You know, you bring different types of technologies together, and now you have the trillion-dollar opportunities. And the venture capital community isn't focused enough on that. There are some great venture capitalists, by the way. I mean, for the record, there are some brilliant people out there who are focused on the right technologies, but they're the outliers. The good news is that they will be the next moguls, the next leaders in venture capital, but it'll take 5 or 7 years before they get there.
I saw Dave McClure lurking around yesterday afternoon, and I figure he would be one of those. And also Jason Mendelsohn and Brad Feld in Boulder. They're obviously a little bit ahead of the game.
Yeah, I mean, they're all doing different things. They're all doing different perspectives. Let's see who wins.
Yeah. Thanks again, Vivek. So lovely to see you, and so lovely to see you looking so well and happy. It's great.
Anytime, my friend.